It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
What?
Well, Frank, it's hot in here.
I'm sorry. That's why I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Okay. Hi. It is the Frank and Friends show. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing on YouTube.
Smashing that button.
For notifications, and we appreciate all of your support. We also appreciate your support with our merch store, which you find online at
frankandfriendshow.com/store.
And if you need to towel off, put the towel on your side.
I think it's very appropriate today that we use this Frank and Friends show towel.
Yeah, you can just mop yourself off at any point from the sweat.
Yeah, why is it so hot in here?
Well, there's a story that goes with this. So, this is an older house. My wife and I have been aware for a few seasons that at some point our
So you knew this was coming.
HVAC system wouldn't last forever.
Okay.
And when the repairmen, we have actually some scheduled maintenance, even some scheduled maintenance. They would come by and they would just look at it and shake their heads, and they'd take selfies with it, and say, "Look, I met a hot 24-year-old," because that's how old the unit is.
Oh, I was going to say there's not like a 24-year-old in the house that's hot.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I just got a text from somebody. No, the air conditioned HVAC unit down in the basement is apparently, it says on it 1998, so it's 24 years old.
1998 is already 24. Wow. Okay.
Well, did I do the math right on that?
No, it just makes me feel old. Okay. Continue.
So, but we keep delaying and kicking that can down the road because there's other home improvements that we wanted to get done. And my wife keeps thinking, I know we're supposed to give the last of my mother's inheritance. We're supposed to give it to some financial planner to, try to maybe have a future. And she's like,
futures are overrated.
Yeah, and my wife's like, we can't give it all to her. We have to hold back enough because the HVAC
emergencies
is going to blow at some point. Well, Jerry's been out of town for 2+ weeks now, 2.5 weeks.
So she escaped it.
She'll be back on Sunday, and she's supposed to bring 2 of the grandsons with her, the 4-year-old and the 6-year-old.
Okay.
On Memorial Day, I say, man, it's a little warmer here. And I've decided, I was ready to text my wife, that it's because of the trees we had removed in the front, that the sun is just blasting. Like I can't sleep in anymore.
That's not helping.
I used to be able to sleep in a little bit in the morning because there was all that shade from the front yard. Now it's just like blaring sun right through the curtains, as soon as it's 7 a.m. or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, it must be hot because of the sun, right?
Yeah.
So I'm putting my feet on the air conditioning register, and I'm like, well, I think that should be colder. I think that could be colder. And I go downstairs and I look at the thermostat and I realize, it's 7 in the morning and it's 78 degrees in the house. That's not right. And it's Memorial Day. So I thought, well, it's Memorial Day. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to have to suffer through. I'll go sit out in the pool and enjoy the day, and then, call the repair people on not Memorial Day.
Okay.
But then it occurred to me, who's coming over to work on the show? The diva. And you know what I say? Protect the diva.
Protect the diva. Except we're still sitting here in the heat.
Well, I didn't think.
I'm using a piece of paper.
I know, and tonight is
a service invoice from the Knoxville
Ultimate
Automotive as my fan.
It was just.
I mean, at least you did provide me with an ice pack.
Yes,
I do appreciate that.
I gave you an ice pack. I said, sit on this, Kathryn, which is how we start most episodes. But in this particular case.
Oh my goodness. I'm still having those post-COVID issues,
Oh yeah, we need to tell.
So laughing is
tell that story. I mean, there's so much we need to talk about because we missed you for a week because Asia White filled in for you. You were traveling. You went to Minnesota. You got the COVID. You're back. You've got opening night. You're drinking the hot tea over there. And did I leave the bourbon on the table? A mistake?
I think it was on purpose.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, it probably was.
But I mean, I did enjoy some in my tea.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Kathryn shows up for an episode, and she walks in the door and says, "Do you have anything to drink?" And it wasn't because of me, right?
I don't think it was you that day.
No, it was some other thing had happened in the business world. And this is
a stressful day.
This was like a month ago or more. Yeah. You needed...
I just needed to like chill out.
Right, so that's why
a little high strung.
That's why I accidentally left the bourbon on Kathryn's side of the table.
Yeah, well, it's good in the tea. We talked about that.
This is the one that I mixed with the honey. So here, you can push it out of the shot. We don't, get it. All right.
Maybe the first thing I've had.
Yeah.
I haven't had any food yet, so.
We've got food, Kathryn.
That's okay.
We've got food. In fact, speaking of food, I have refrigerated water. This is the first time that we've been drinking cold water. Usually we drink hot water, room temperature water.
Yeah.
And speaking of food, I had to put Jerry's butter in the fridge.
Oh, because it's melting?
Yes.
In the butter dish?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I went to fry myself a burger, and I saw Adam Ragusa said use butter instead of oil, and I thought, I'll try it.
Nice.
And the butter's like...
Soup. Your butter has turned into a soup bowl.
Pouring it. It was so hot. So hot last night. So, all right, so it's Memorial Day. Frady's going to be coming over. I have to protect the diva. The grandsons, the 4 and the 6, are coming over next week. And I have to think, I said, well, if I can't get this fixed, they should not come.
Right.
Because why would I want a 4 and a 6-year-old in a house with no air conditioning in Tennessee? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I say, all right, well, this is it. I call. 8 o'clock in the morning, I call the HVAC company that does this normal maintenance for us, and they say, okay, yeah, we can send somebody over soon. It's no big deal. You're a member of the maintenance club. It's no problem.
Great.
And in fact, you don't have to pay extra. You pay for it, but there's no upcharge.
Okay, nice.
So I'm like, oh, great. So they come over, and I thought, this is good. But I went out to look at the air conditioning unit, because I'm trying to describe the problem to them. They're like, well, is the circuit breaker working? And I went out to the garage, yes. Is the furnace downstairs, or the blower, the motor, that's the fan, that's fan, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
Yes, is that going? Yes. Yeah. What about the cooler unit outside? So I go outside, and of course it's just dead. It's nothing, no motion.
So do you just need coolant, or is like the whole fan out there broken?
Well, we're working on that problem apparently, because I look down and I see just a tangle of the nastiest, grossest poison ivy you've ever seen.
Why does that always happen around the air conditioning units?
Maybe
poison ivy, bees.
Yeah.
This is where those things
I think because you don't spend, it's hard to get back in there.
Yeah.
You don't, the lawn mowing guys and the weed whacking guys, they don't bother with that section. So I look at it, and it's got these yellow pustules on it. You can tell, it's hard to recognize poison ivy sometimes because there's so many different varieties of poison ivy. They don't always look the same from, my yard to your yard to the Tennessee to Virginia, whatever. There's different varieties of poison ivy. But this you could just tell by looking at it that it was poisonous. It looked like it was just ready to just erupt and in yellow and just pounce on me. It looked so disgusting and so pustuley and preposterous. So remember, it's hot, right? It's Memorial Day. So I go upstairs and I find my long sleeve Rocky Hill Christmas Parade t-shirt.
Okay.
Jeans, socks, shoes, gloves. I even brought I found an old COVID mask.
Nice.
Apparently I still had one.
That's good.
And I didn't end up not wearing it, but I thought I did okay. I brushed some on my face briefly, but nothing happened. Actually, I got a spot right here. You see this?
Oh, yeah.
So I think I missed a spot.
One little spot.
One little spot.
Yeah.
Well, and then this is from last week, another little spot. I'm not really allergic to poison ivy, but if I don't scrub it off.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm out there and I sweat through all the clothes. I mean, I'm
dripping.
dripping.
Yeah.
But the poison ivy's out. I put it in a bag and I put it in the garbage. And then I go and take a shower with Dawn dishwashing liquid.
Why?
That's not her name. I mean, it's an actual product.
It's not Miss Dishwashing Liquid?
Yes, Dawn, she was the winner of Miss Dishwashing Liquid 2020, and she's still hanging on to her title. But I've read that you can pay for the expensive poison ivy removal soap, which we have some of it, but it's not cheap, and it's in a small bottle.
Okay.
Or I saw some YouTube scientist that said Dawn dishwashing liquid will cut the oil just like it does with other oils.
Now, does it have to be Dawn, or can it be any dishwashing?
They used that one because it was in the commercials where they put it on the birds.
Because it's Dawn,
Yeah,
and she's,
she's hot.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Exactly.
But the scrubbing motion is really what makes the difference. So anyway, it worked. I took a shower in dishwashing liquid.
That's hilarious.
And I only apparently missed this spot right here.
Does that make your skin dry? Because like if you wash your hands...
I mean, you can feel my arms. I think they're fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're all right. Yeah. But, okay.
I mean,
it seems like it would dry out your skin a little.
Well, there used to be a commercial for Palmolive where you're soaking in it. You wouldn't know that, would you?
No, I'm way too young for that.
Of course you are.
That's what we're going with.
So if I said Madge from Palmolive?
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Okay, great. So now I've moved out the poison ivy, and the guy from the HVAC company finally shows up. He's like, okay, I'm here. And he goes through all the same rigmarole. He says, "Oh man, downstairs the fan. This is on its last legs. You can tell when it kicks on. It goes.
It's tired. Like
finally
me.
starts going.
Yeah.
The circuit breaker in the garage seemed fine.
Okay.
He takes apart the front of the air conditioning unit, and he's like, "Oh!" And he takes a picture of the nasty corrosion and disgust, and sends it to his friends. I'm sure. Actually, he sent it to me in part of my report. I got a report of all this is gross, this is gross, this is gross. These are decayed, rusted, rotten things. It's a 24-year-old system. So then he gets to the point where he's like, where's the other circuit breaker? Like the emergency cutoff.
Right.
Like, what do you mean the emergency cutoff? I don't know about the emergency cutoff. Where is it?
Okay.
And we're going out and we're looking around. We're looking everywhere around the house. And then he comes back and knocks on the door and says, I got good news and bad news. I'm like, what? He says, I found the emergency cutoff.
Okay.
The bad news is it's all the way under the screened-in porch.
Good times.
So now, if you can imagine,
do you have to crawl under there?
There's a path, a door that over by where the air conditioning unit is. There's a little door that goes under the screen porch, and we use it to store junk, the pool cover.
Sure.
When we had
like
the dumpster.
Garage.
Yeah, well, it's even grosser than that. When the dumpster was here, I went in there. I couldn't go all the way in. I would go in as far as my length of my body. My feet stayed outside. I didn't want to go all the way in.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled out whatever garbage I had stashed in there over the past 20 years and put it in the dumpster. So I thought, oh, it's fine. Yeah, I cleared out a bunch of junk in there. He's like, no, there's spider webs.
Oh, no. I
said, well, so?
No, like, there's probably bats in there, too.
He's allergic to spider bites. So he's like, look, sir, I can't go under there with the spider webs.
Yeah.
So I have to go under there. And
did you get your whole gear on again?
No, at this point, I'm now wearing a bathing suit and a T-shirt because I'm.
You've already showered with Dawn.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was great. I'm refreshed.
Silky smooth.
I'm somewhat refreshed.
Good. And so now you're going to go back.
So I have to go under there, and I take a broom, and I'm crawling under there, and there's rocks and there's dirt. I mean, it's not uncomfortable. Yeah. And the guy says to me, "Would you like a knee pad?" I'm like, "Yes, please." So he goes to his car or his work truck, the big plumbing, heating, cooling van, whatever it is, and gets his knee pad and throws it to me.
Yeah.
And I crawl a little bit, and I kind of scooch up, and I move the knee pad, and then I crawl to get back on the knee pad because I have to go the whole length of the porch.
The whole length of this wall.
Yeah. So if you can imagine that the entrance would be off to my right,
by the
your
kitchen.
left,
yeah,
and the thing was like on the other side, down below where you are. So I'm got this broom and I'm knocking down spider webs and I'm basically brushing the ceiling,
right,
and knocking down as many as I can. I couldn't get them all, but I made a path.
Okay.
For him.
Okay.
Right, because who's ever been down there?
Apparently, no one.
So I'm I've soaked through my sweat in this thing, and I have to go take the hose to myself. It's disgusting. So then the guy, he comes in there, and he goes, I guess he crawls in there, and I come back inside. I'm just trying to chill out a little bit or sit somewhere, and he comes back to the door and says, "Sir, I've got bad news." Like, what do you mean there's bad news? The bad news was there's spiders.
The bad news already happened, I thought. I had to crawl under there.
He says, I can't touch the circuit breaker. I can't touch the emergency cutoff.
Why?
Exactly.
Isn't that his job?
Well, he said, this particular one that you have is a blah, 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 blah. And he gives me the name, the model number, practically the serial number. He says, he gives me, like I'm supposed to recognize some kind of electrical cutoff switch. And then, of course, there's
It is sort of surprising that you don't. But.
Well, I'll have to learn it from him because he says they stopped making those in the 1980s and pulled them from the market.
Perfect.
I said, oh. He says, because they're a fire hazard.
Perfect.
I said, oh.
Great.
And I've lived here 20 years, and we've been using it every day for 20 years. I said, well, I'm glad the house hasn't caught fire.
Yeah, you're in good shape.
He says, yeah, you've been very lucky, but we're our company, we can't even touch it. You'll have to have an electrician. Of course, their company has electricians.
Right. Yeah.
Come out and basically replace this. And he says, and if it were me, I wouldn't even, I would certainly not leave it where it is. I would have
put
them
it someplace
cut
easier.
make it out by the HVAC unit. And then he says, but you also got to consider for the cost of doing that to get the AC unit to work. Because he's tried everything. He's put new fuses in, and that doesn't make any difference in all the things. Because the old fuses were blown. He says, oh, it doesn't make any difference so far except this piece. If you pay just to have that fixed, and maybe you'll get the air conditioning back on.
Right.
That's going to cost
a lot.
Probably a couple of $1,000s to have that rewiring done.
Of course, yeah.
Now you got to look at that versus the cost of replacing the whole system, which you have to do.
Right. So just replace the whole system.
So I bought a HVAC system last night.
So then do you even need that electrical breaker? Like, will it just become null and void?
What they'll do is they'll just cut the power to it and leave it on the wall and put a new one,
someplace else.
Yeah,
that's
as
better.
part of the new system. The new system will have its own, and they'll just cut, seal it off, cut the electricity to it, and it'll just stay there forever.
That's better.
Yeah,
because otherwise that would
fires.
be a real pain in the ass if you spent all that money to move it and then it still didn't get anything working.
Right.
And then you still had to buy a new HVAC.
Right, and that's what he was saying, is that that's where you're headed. You may as well just have them do that electrical work as part of the installation.
Yeah.
So that's the next step is, I could have had an emergency appointment, but
You thought, no, it'd be more fun to have Frady come over and work in a sauna,
Well, they would be here.
Why would I get it done?
They would be literally here right now, doing it right now. So anyway, they're coming, but they're...
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that later. So you could have had them come over and start getting this fixed.
But it's a lot of work. It's got a lot of stuff going on. I got a very busy day.
You have stuff to do.
I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I thought, instead of taking the rush appointment, the emergency appointment, I'll take the next available appointment, which was 48 hours later. It's not that big of a deal.
That's not too bad.
Not that big of a deal.
That's too bad.
So it's still before Jerry and the kids get back.
Good.
So they're going to start. They'll come and they'll start working on it, because then my repairman leaves and a salesman shows up to tell me all about the what I'm buying. Okay. And I have to tell you about how I told him all about you.
Uh-oh.
Because questions arose.
Questions arose.
Questions arose. We're sitting here at this table and things happened, and I had to explain. Well, you see, I do the show with a diva. And I mean that as a compliment. I consider my wife to be a little bit of a diva.
Yeah.
Because she sings, a soprano. You're a soprano. Yeah. I enjoy sopranos. I don't know if you figured this out.
Sopranos and pretty ladies.
Oh, by the way, thank you to Asia White for filling in while Kathryn was away.
Yes, thank you, Asia.
So this episode is brought to you by
Marble City Opera.
Kathryn's Opera Company.
That's right.
Because tonight's a big night.
It is a big night.
Tonight is opening night for The Copper Queen.
And it is the staged premiere of this piece. And that means that we're the first company and cast to actually be on stage. Yeah, in the world, to do this piece. Because the only other time it's been done was a film by Arizona Opera.
So Arizona Opera intended to stage it, but couldn't because of COVID.
That's right.
So they decided to make a movie out of it, which is a very cool idea.
It is cool.
But the creators of that, are coming to Knoxville to work on the show, or they're already here, I guess.
Yeah, so John De Los Santos is the librettist. He wrote all of the words, he wrote the play, and then Clint Borzoni actually arrived yesterday and will be at all of the performances. Fantastic. To do a talkback show, before the show starts.
That's so fancy, Kathryn. This is like...
We're going to have wine and cheese, and it comes free with your ticket.
Remember when Marble City Opera was this little upstart opera company? And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, the Knoxville Symphony has wine and cheese, and the Knoxville Symphony has talkbacks, and the Knoxville Symphony.
So now, Marble City Opera, we have our talkback sessions. Yeah, so you can come before the show and have wine and cheese and meet John De Los Santos and Clint Borzoni, the creators of the piece, and they talk about their experience actually staying at the hotel, the Copper Queen.
Which is supposedly haunted by your character.
Oh, not just supposedly. It's like they
I mean, you have to believe in ghosts in order for it to be haunted.
Okay, so they don't believe in ghosts, and they were haunted.
Oh, awesome.
So they have some great stories that they're going to share.
Now, I'm planning to come tonight with Sarah Roberto.
Fantastic.
Should I call her and remind her?
Yeah, y'all should come to the wine and cheese.
The wine and cheese. Okay, yeah. So I'm excited about this because in the course of the past few days, you get tickets, by the way, at
MarbleCityOpera.com/tickets.
And in the course of the past few days, you've been posting, or Marble City has been posting, pictures of the rehearsal, which is, again, unusual for you because you're doing it in an actual theater at Flying Anvil Theater.
A theater with a set.
Yeah, I didn't...
All the lights, you know.
It looked... I thought, who are these people? What has happened to little upstart Marble City Opera that would do a show with the whole entire, set is a couple of boxes on the floor.
It's like actual, yeah.
It looks like a theater.
I know.
You have an actual theater.
We have an actual
And I guess your husband took the pictures from the rehearsal?
He did, yeah.
I showed a few of them to the air conditioning salesman, which we'll get to in a moment. But
oh, nice.
So there's these pictures of you as this lady of the evening.
Yeah, she's a prostitute.
In your tawdry costume.
Yeah. And
you're engaged with the different customers.
That's true. There are many customers.
Singing. And some, the costume is
it's pretty revealing.
It's obvious. So, as a concerned Marble City Opera board member, do you need double-sided tape? Do we need to authorize the expenditure of some?
I did wonder.
Double sticky tape.
That would be great.
If you understand what I mean.
I do. Yeah.
You get what I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah.
It's that one picture in particular.
It's dangerous. It's the first rehearsal actually, because you don't want to go, oh, okay, is everything still intact? While you're playing your character.
The guy from the HVAC company did predict a slip or a wardrobe malfunction. He says, "Oh yeah, she's definitely going to have a."
I have not had any wardrobe malfunctions. Knock on all the wood, but that would make it a whole different show.
But you said that the music. And this is the part that I'm having a hard time with mentally because modern opera to me has a unique, different sound to it. But you said this music is more lush, and if I like the older music, then I'm like this.
Yeah, I mean it's more like in a Puccini style, which is really great. So you have these sweeping, beautiful melodies that you can really latch onto, and they repeat. So
the character has a melody kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean you have these moments that repeat throughout the evening, which is really nice for the audience to be able to come back to.
That's what I learned
those motives.
A year ago when you did Tosca.
Yeah.
That's what I picked up on, thanks to you teaching me. So.
Yeah, but there's a waltz in it, and there's a little old-time ragtime sort of song. So you have these that gives it that American feel to it as well.
Nice.
So you have beautiful, lush melodies like Puccini, but with an American flair.
I love it. So one more time to buy their tickets.
At MarbleCityOpera.com/tickets.
And there's shows tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. So you have 3 opportunities to come. And if you still aren't going to come, or you live too far away,
you can purchase a virtual ticket and watch it online.
Yeah, which is very nice.
Yeah.
So don't miss out on the opportunity to see Kathryn as Julia Lowell in the Copper Queen Hotel, which is the name of the opera is the Copper Queen.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, I think I have to adjust my ice pack. I was getting a little numb in the tailbone, if you know what I mean.
That's good.
Yeah.
We have some special ways of kind of immersing the audience, to continue to try to make it like a Marble City Opera flair.
Okay, because it's set in 1920, 1910?
1910 and 2010.
Okay.
So it goes back and forth.
100 years.
100 years. And while Addison Moore is in the hotel, she gets haunted.
She's in the present,
yes.
10 years ago, 2010.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's exciting.
All right. Well, the HVAC salesman was sitting over there. I don't know if he had the sniffles or he had something going on or just had a cough in his throat.
Okay.
I said, "Do you need a tissue?" He's like, "Oh, don't bother getting a tissue." I said, "Do you need a tissue?" He's like, "That's okay." And I reached down and I said, "No, I keep tissues
in case I make Frady cry."
Yeah. And I had to. So that was kind of the explanation. It's like, why would you have tissues on the floor of your dining room? And that started this whole conversation. Well, you see, I have this friend. and she's my podcast partner, and she's the diva, and she comes over here, and we do the show, and you see the sign, and he starts getting very interested and very curious.
Okay.
And you can see the
wheels turning.
Yeah. Wait, your name is Frank, right? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He
And
knew who
and
you
now
were.
I'm trying to calculate how old is this guy? Because he's young. I mean, he's got a young married man with a couple of kids at home. And I'm thinking, oh wait, he could be in that late 20 bracket of the people who used to listen to me in middle school on the on the old station.
Yeah.
So I just started telling him about, well, we got Kathryn Frady, and I showed him the pictures of you with the costume, and his eyes are bugging out. I was telling him you should subscribe to the show, and he says, I love podcasts. He doesn't really care about YouTube, but he said he wanted to know if we're on Apple Podcasts, which of course we are.
Yeah.
So he said, so William, I'm talking to you, William. I hope that you did, in fact, subscribe and you listen, which is great. And then I go on and tell him about, the PBS shows, and of course, the whole thing about radio comes up. I'm like, well, I see I do radio over there. And
he's
then
like,
it's like,
wait a second.
And I said, yeah, I used to be on that show on 102. And he's like, did you stiff somebody on a tip? Like, wait.
You really did.
I'm like,
More than once,
you went
probably.
someplace and you ordered a burger. And he starts
Yeah.
telling me back this story from 15 plus years ago. And I didn't remember it until he started saying it.
I
I'm like,
remember it.
you do not.
Yes, I do. You don't like to pay.
Well, there was one time I brought my own salad to a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this whole conversation about how you're kind of like a cheapskate and you don't want to like pay any.
Yeah, well,
extra.
this was
and then, like all the guys were there from the radio and.
Well, this was even, I guess, other
one.
story. You're talking about at K-Rock where I was equally cheap.
Yeah.
But
okay.
yeah, I must have told some story, and this guy, is like, oh yeah, I remember. So that was. He also told me about another Knoxville YouTuber. I guess because he went and did HVAC at their house. It's some girl named Ashley who's married to a guy who used to be on the news on Channel 6 named Blake Stevens. And she's got hundreds of thousands of viewers. She watches movies from the 90s that she's never seen.
And then she does
a
reviews.
reaction video to them.
That's fun.
Yeah. Speaking of things you've never seen, I want to mention briefly that Frady and I are on TV this week on Saturday, the 4th. Well, your show will just be getting out, right, at Marble City
Yeah,
Opera.
and we can turn on the Brit Floyd Space and Time live in Amsterdam.
Yeah, we're doing the pledge drives for the Brit Floyd show, which is on Saturday night at 9 o'clock, right before the Prince concert.
And then again on Thursday.
And then again Thursday the 9th at 9:30. But this is the little thing where it says Brit Floyd, you see. So
now, can you watch this online as well as?
if you have the PBS
pass?
app, if you're a member, which I am, so I can, I think I have an Einstein Simplified gig on Saturday night. But as I'm driving home, I can pull it up on my phone.
Because I'm actually going to be with some family, and maybe I can make them all on the Thursday night. We can all watch it together.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
It'll be fun.
And you can watch us in your rock and roll clothes. Trying to get you to send in money to East Tennessee PBS, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's great fun.
They also asked me to do a voiceover for the Straight No Chaser. They didn't
Nice.
need anyone on camera, but they just wanted somebody to do the voiceover for, if you send in X number of dollars now, you get tickets to see them at the Tennessee Theater.
They are going to do a 30-minute opera as well.
Did you work that out with East Tennessee PBS?
They said they're open to doing that. So
that was I think, was that my stupid idea?
It
my brilliant
It was a brilliant idea where you got a gold star.
That's all I care
at the
about.
board meeting.
That's all I care about. I just want the stars.
I'm gonna start bringing gold stars to the board meetings.
Hey, I suggested Dolly Fest. I suggested PBS.
I know.
I suggested some other thing.
Dolly Fest is coming up this weekend too.
Yeah, how's that working?
That's great.
Are you going to it?
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
You need to go home and rest.
Well, yes, I do.
How are you going to do Dolly Fest? When is this?
It's at 12 o'clock on Saturday.
Saturday.
And it's only for 15 minutes that Marble City Opera is performing.
Okay, and are you going to introduce it?
No, I'm just going to go and support them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the Disney Princess and Prince Charming.
That's right.
Whitney and Ben.
Whitney and Ben will be performing.
Hey, that's what they look like. You can't deny
they are
it.
Disney Princess and Prince.
Yeah. And they're going to perform from the
Heartbreak Express.
Which is a year away, a year away.
Yeah.
So they're doing a preview.
Yep. And
wow.
it's really exciting. So that's on June 4th at 12 p.m.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
This is what William said. He wanted to listen to a podcast that had a lot of Knoxville information in it.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what I've got for you.
Here we are. You're welcome.
Any other behind-the-scenes tales of
the Copper Queen?
Yeah, because it's all you've been worried about lately. I mean, I guess you could mention, that you went to an opera conference, you got the COVID. Then last week we didn't have you here because you were still in quarantine, but also you were busy working very hard on the show.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy because I accidentally went to the conference with COVID apparently. So at least
how did you know?
I didn't know
because you and I were together on Monday at the board meeting.
We were together on Monday, and
this
I
was
was
a couple
trying
of
to
weeks
figure
ago.
it
So
out.
whatever Monday it was,
Yeah.
and I didn't get COVID, but you did. But then I went home and you went to another thing.
Right, I went to another thing that night, and then Tuesday, I think I was probably here.
Yeah.
And had rehearsal and all the things. And then Wednesday I get on a plane. Fortunately, I was wearing a mask, and the conference had mask rules and vaccination rules, so everyone was vaccinated. And I had a little bit of a scratchy throat, and I was like, does anyone...
That's why I put the bourbon on the table, really, if you want to know the truth.
I was like, does anyone have a scratchy throat? And
no, everyone's like, no.
Everyone's like, no, it's probably just allergies. We're in Minneapolis. It's weird here. I'm like, okay. So the next morning I wake up and I'm like a little congested. I'm like, I'm going to need to go get some allergy pills. This allergy stuff is really messing with me. Went to the conference the whole day, went to a performance of Carmen that night.
Yeah.
I felt a little chilly. So I probably had a low grade fever because I got a little bit of a chill. But I was like, well, I didn't really dress appropriately for Minneapolis. I'm like, it's cold here, so I'm probably just, And then the next morning I woke up with more congestion, and I was like, man, I'm going to need to go get some, actual medicine. Maybe I'm getting a sinus infection or something. Come home the next day, and I was like, I should totally test before I go to rehearsal.
Why didn't it occur to you up until... Well, I guess because when you go to rehearsal, you actually have that protocol where it's every 72 hours, so you had to test anyway.
I had to test, and I thought, well, it would be good to test since I'm having these symptoms. And
sure enough. And then I get the message from Frady. He's like, guess what? And I'm contact tracing myself, thinking our paths crossed.
Right.
But... and I'm fine. Nothing happened to me. But we figured out that someone else that you crossed paths with
on that Monday night
also
was
posting all over Facebook about how I can't believe it. I had to go to an audition at a theater and a rehearsal and
I got COVID.
And it's coincidentally a different theater company, but same space where you were.
Same space, yeah. So, and fun fact, I think I'm the only one in my cast who had not had COVID. And so I think that's the reason why I was the one who got it, but no one else did. So that's really interesting.
Because you're kissing all these dudes in the show.
Yeah, all of them. I think there's, let's see, which one don't I? I think I don't kiss one of them.
The one who plays your father?
No.
Get out.
No, Jacob. I don't kiss Jacob, but the guy who plays my father.
Well, you can't kiss Jacob because you've tied him to the bed in the show.
That's right. Yeah, he can't reach me.
You're not going to want to miss the Copper Queen. And if by chance you're watching this episode after the show, it was June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, but we're putting this out today so you can still see it live and in person. But if by chance you miss it, get it online.
You can still get it online.
You buy the ticket at
MarbleCityOpera.com/tickets.
We do appreciate all of your support. We appreciate it when you listen to other podcasts like ours, and including ours, by going to audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends show. I figured out it's actually when you get this trial, it's the premium membership that you get for the month, which is why you get the one MP3
Free
download. That's part of the premium membership. And
That's
so you get
awesome.
treated like, first class during that month. You get to keep the download even if you don't continue as a premium member. But obviously they think you will. They want you to try premium because it's that much greater and better with the tens of thousands of audiobooks. And every week there's new books that come out.
That's great.
So there's never-ending supply
new content.
Thing for you to listen to. So audibletrial.com/Frank and Friends show. And also you can support us with our merchandise at the merch store that Kathryn has lovingly set up.
frankandfriendshow.com/store for all of your Frank and Friends merchandise needs.
Now we will have to do a pool episode one of these days where we actually use the beach towels.
I know. We should do that next time.
All right. Well, not until after Copper Queen, because the idea that I have might mess up your hair and your makeup, and I don't want to,
Well, I have to go into hair and makeup.
Oh, all right.
So it wouldn't be too bad for me. It would just be bad for Maria, who's doing my hair and makeup.
Okay, yeah, we'll wait until after we'll do it later in June. We'll have a nice a poolside episode one of these days.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, sharing, subscribing on YouTube.
Smashing that button.
And we will talk to you again real soon with I guess, Tuesday's episode. And Kathryn, you'll be here for that.
I will.
All right. I doubt that the AC will be fixed by then. I can predict right now.
Come on.
That it will be hot again. This is the Frank and Friends Show. And I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
We'll talk to you again next time.